awesome. Dropped that a little bit, but we're gonna move right on into the topic of the video, because this has been one I've been wanting to make for a long time. But every time I start to make it, or even think about doing it, they announce more, just more and more. And since you read the title of the video, you're not a barbarian, you know this is about the remarkable casting that's been done for Dune so far. Just holy crap! What's your budget? How big? How much? Because Jesus! Now, if you weren't aware, basically from the title of the video, you are now. Dune is being adapted into a sci-fi epic. This is a book I actually wasn't a super big fan of when I reviewed it on my channel, and I largely stick by my review. I just don't think it's that great a book. But with the movie having such a remarkable cast, phenomenal director, and just this wave of support behind it, I'm actually really excited for it. I am down to see what they can do, because by no means do I think Dune is a bad book, and you can certainly take an okay to great book and turn it into something amazing, and Dune certainly falls within that range. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and jump into just why everyone and their mother seems so excited for the up-and-coming Dune adaptation. First off, it's being directed by Denis Villeneuve, who, if you are not aware, is one of the best working directors currently. He has Blade Runner 2049, Sicario, Arrival, Prisoners, and Enemy under his belt. All widely loved films by fans and critics, and having someone who's so able to capture atmosphere and tension behind this adaptation right away gives me a lot of faith. Now, moving on into the cast. While Denis Villeneuve is enough to raise eyebrows himself, we have quite the character list coming up, and let's go ahead and dive into that. Starting from the top down on IMDb, we have Jason Momoa as Duncan Idaho, Zendaya as Chani, Josh Brolin as Gurney Halleck, Rebecca Ferguson as Lady Jessica, Dave Bautista as Glasu Beast Raban, Oscar Isaac as Duke Leto Atreides, Timothy Chalamet as Paul Andres, Stalin Skarsgård as Baron Harkonnen, Javier Bardem as Stilgar, David Dastmalchian as Pieter Dervisi, Charlotte Rampling as Reverend Mother Mohaim, Chen Chang as Dr. Huyn. I'm so bad with names. You all are new to the channel. Sorry, but those who have been around are aware this is my weakest spot. And Stephen McKelly Henderson have all been confirmed to be in this movie, and the amount of heavy hitters there is incredible. The fact that we have actors who range from such a broad spectrum background, so many well-known names. The one I'm personally most excited for is Javier Bardem. If there's anyone who can just make me feel uncomfortable and afraid of him on screen, it's Javier Bardem. Holy crap. And this is by no means the final casting, but it's already an impressive enough list. For those unaware, Dune has previously been adapted into a live-action film. It went as good as 80s live-action adaptations of sci-fi materials typically went, but it wasn't horrendous. It was 80s. It was super duper 80s. Okay, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, it was flat out bad. But this next adaptation really seems it could do the source material justice, and I, as a sci-fi fantasy fan, no matter how I feel about a book, am excited to see one done right. Now, just because there's a great director and a stellar cast, that does not always equal instant success. There have been plenty of massive budget failures, but Denis Villeneuve, as far as I am aware, does not have a very weak entry under his belt, and his visions for the future in what we saw in Arrival and Blade Runner 2041 were spectacular. Honestly, if I could pick any director to be the one helming the vision of this movie, I would have picked him, no question. Alive. Obviously, like, if, we're picking from alive or dead, that changes. But currently working, if you want a better understanding of Denis Villeneuve's control of the camera and masterful work as a director, top 3 recommendations for me, for him, are Blade Runner 2049, Sicario, and Enemy. Kind of tied with Arrival, although I think a lot of the things you're going to learn about him as a director from Arrival, he does equally as well in Blade Runner 2049. Really, there's not a weak entry you could pick here. Even his not quite as big budget Prisoners, I think, is one of the best suspense movies I've seen in the last decade or two. Now, the biggest unknown factor here is Timothy Chalamet. I'm sorry, I'm really bad with names. You guys know that. Now, looking over his filmography, I'm actually rather impressed. I wouldn't have been able to recognize him at a moment moment's notice off the top of my head, but he certainly has multiple well-received notable projects under his belt. And it's honestly, in my opinion, just a good thing to see someone who's not a triple A-lister get a bigger role that seems to be elevating him. I'd rather that than see another retread of an actor who's been at the top for a while. Though that's more just a personal preference thing. I get tired of seeing the same faces again and again, unless the actors are like really good at diving into their roles and completely disappearing. Unlike Leonardo DiCaprio, who never can disappear. He's always Leo in movies. That's not the point. Anyway, guys, I'm really curious to see what you think of the upcoming Dune adaptation in the comments down below. Are you super excited? Are you kind of more skeptical? I'm pretty much buying in. I would put money down that Dune will turn out to be a solid film, and that's largely due to actually the director rather than the cast, but I'm still also very impressed by the cast. Let me know in the comments down below how you're feeling. Like and subscribe if you have not already. Hit the Patreon if you want to support what I do here, and have a good one, y'all. Peace.